Hello everyone. For the last two classes, we have been reading the chapter The Happy Prince from the Supplementary Reader Moments. We also read that a swallow came to a city. It was going to Egypt. It decided to spend his night on a high pedestal on which the statue of a prince was erected, which was coated with gold. The statue was crying. And when the swallow asked the prince why he was crying, so he told that in his life, when he was alive, he had never tasted the sorrows, difficulties, but now when his statue was erected on a tall pedestal, high-raised pedestal, he could see the miseries of his people, of his kingdom. He wanted to help them, and he wanted the bird, the swallow, to be his messenger. So first, he asked the swallow to take out the ruby from his sword hilt and give it to a seamstress who was tired. Her son was suffering from high fever. Then the prince told the swallow that he should pluck one of the sapphires from his eyes and delivered it, give it to a young man who was a writer. He was trying to complete a play of a director of a theater, but it was winter season. He didn't have sufficient winter clothes. He didn't have fire. He also didn't have food. So, as instructed by the prince, the swallow plucked out one of the sapphires and gave it to the young man. The young man was very happy. He felt that it was a reward, it was a prize for his writing, that he was being started, he was being appreciated. It was a gift from one of his admirers. Then the prince told the swallow that it should pluck the second sapphire from his eyes and give it to a small girl who was standing at the intersection and was having some match boxes to sell, but those match boxes had fallen into the gutter, and she was crying because if she would go without any money, her father would scold her, beat her. So she was crying. She was distressed. The prince told the swallow that he should pluck the second sapphire from his eye. But the swallow refused to obey him. But the prince said that it was his command and he should do as he was instructing him, directing him. The swallow acted upon the order of the prince. He took that sapphire from the eye, the second sapphire, and he dropped that sapphire into the palm of the little girl. The little girl was very happy to see something shining. She took it to be a glass. She forgot her fear that she would be scolded and beaten by her father. She immediately ran home with that sapphire in her hand, laughing. She was very excited. She was happy. When the swallow returned to the king, he told the prince that he had delivered that sapphire to the little girl, and the little girl was very happy. She ran home laughing. Now let's continue the chapter. The swallow came back and told the prince that now he was not going to leave him. He was not going to Egypt to join his friends, but he was going to stay with the prince forever because he was very much attracted. You can say he was fascinated by his kindness, his benevolence. That even being a statue, he was concerned for the humanity. He was trying to help people. So he decided that he would stay with the prince always. "No, little swallow," said the poor prince, "you must go away to Egypt." The prince this time said that no, he should not stay with him, but should go to Egypt and join his friend. So earlier the swallow wanted to go. The prince requested him to stay. But now this time, the swallow wanted to stay, but the prince was requesting him, ordering him that he should go to Egypt and join his friends. "No, I will stay with you always," said the swallow. And he slept at the prince's feet, and he slept at the feet of the prince on the pedestal. All the next day he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in the strange land. So the next day he sat on the shoulder of the prince and told him that what he had seen, what he had viewed in that strange land. "Dear little swallow," said the prince, "you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and women." The prince told the swallow that he was telling him about the wonderful things, the marvelous things. But the prince told the swallow that nothing could be more marvelous than the pains and suffering of men and women. The pains and suffering of men and women, the distress, the problems, the obstacles, the miseries of life. Nothing could be more marvelous than that. There is no mystery so great as misery. कोई भी रहस्य पेन्स और सफरिंग से बड़ा नहीं हो सकता है. The pains and suffering that is caused to human beings. No mystery can be better than nothing can be so mysterious than the pains and suffering of human beings. "Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there." And then he was again instructed by the prince that he should fly over the city and go and see, and then come back and tell him what he had seen. So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates. So, as instructed by the prince, the swallow flew over the city. It saw that the rich people were enjoying their life to the full. Everything they had was surplus: clothes, food, luxuries, comforts, everything they had. They were enjoying their life. But while the beggars were still at the gates, they are moving all over houses of the gates and begging for one day meal. But the rich people were enjoying their life. The beggars were in the street and begging. He flew into the dark lanes and saw white faces of starving children looking out listlessly at the black streets. Under the archway of a bridge, two boys were lying in each other's arms to try and keep themselves warm. He flew into the dark lanes, the black lanes. There was no electricity, no light. The poor children who were starving, who were hungry, they were looking. Their faces were white, but they were very hungry. They had nothing in their stomach for many days. Under the archway of a bridge, there was a bridge, and two small children, two little boys, were lying in each other's arms to try to keep themselves warm. You could see that under a bridge there were two boys, and they were holding each other in their arms. Why? Because they wanted to shield themselves. Shield means protect. They wanted to provide warmth. They wanted to protect themselves from the intense cold. So they didn't have any winter clothes. They didn't have fire. So they were trying, holding each other to provide warmth to their body. So they didn't have house. They didn't have clothes. They didn't even have food. "How hungry we are," they said. And one of them said that they were very hungry. "You must not lie here," shouted the watchman, and they wandered out into the rain. It was also raining. They were sitting under the bridge, trying to shield themselves from the rain, from the winter, by hugging each other. Soon the watchman came and told them that they cannot sleep there and asked them to go away. And again they were out from the protection of the bridge in the rain. They got wet. Then he flew back and told the prince what he had seen. The swallow again flew back to the prince and told him what he had seen. I am covered with fine gold. You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy. So the prince said that his body was coated, the whole statue was coated with thick layer of gold. So he should take out leaf by leaf of the gold and he should give it to the poor. So they can have something to go into their stomach, some clothes on their body to protect themselves from the wind, from the winter. The living always think that gold can make them happy. The living people, the people who are alive, they always think that if they have gold, it can make them happy. So he had gold, and that gold should be given to the particular poor, and it would make them happy. They would sell it, get money, and then they can protect themselves from the winter. They can have some food. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off. So the swallow started taking the coated gold little by little, till the happy prince looked quite dull and grey. It was made of metal and coated with gold. So when the gold was taken away, the statue, which once used to be the attraction of the city, now became very dull, ugly, unattractive. When the gold was taken, when the sapphires were removed. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier. That means each time the swallow gave the gold to the poor people, the children, their faces were lit up. They became happy. And they laughed and played in the street. We have bread now, they cried. And they cried that they were not going to have bread because they will sell the small piece of gold and they were going to get enough money. Then snow came. And after the snow came the frost. The snowfall started. Then the frost, and everything was going to be freezed. Everything was going to freeze. The snowfall also came. The street looked as if they were made of silver. When there was snowfall, it appeared that everything was covered with silver. Wherever you look, you can find everything covered with silver. The trees, the road, the houses, everything was covered with snow. Everybody went about in furs, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on the ice. Everybody was happy. Even the poor children, they had sufficient clothes to wear in the winter. They had scarlet caps, they had shoes, they had winter clothes. So they were enjoying to the full in the winter. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. The winter season, it was becoming intense cold. The swallow did not have any shelter except the pedestal, the feet of the prince. It was growing intense cold. Even though the swallow did not leave the prince, he stayed with him. He loved him too well, and he loved the prince. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door, and when the baker was not looking, and tried to keep warm himself by flapping his wings. So he fed on the crumbs that were thrown by the baker. And he used to make himself warm by flapping his wings for long durations, for long hours. He tried to provide warmth by flapping his wings. But at last he knew that he was going to die. But at last he realized that his end has come. He was not able to survive. He will not be able to survive in the intense cold. It will become unbearable. So he realized that it was his last time. his death was near. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more, and only that much of strength was left with him, through which he can at least fly once at up to the prince's shoulders. "Goodbye, dear prince," he murmured. He flew and sat on the shoulder of the prince and told him goodbye. He murmured, "Will you let me kiss your hand?" And he said that he wanted to kiss the prince's hand. The swallow wanted to kiss his hand. "I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow," said the prince. And the prince said that he was very happy that at last the swallow had decided to go to Egypt and go and join his friends. "You have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on my lips, for I love you." And the prince told the swallow that he was happy for his decision that he was going to Egypt to join his friend. But he said that he should not kiss him on his hand, but on his lips, because he loved him, because he had given him company. He has carried out his orders. He had helped him a lot in comforting the people in distress, the poor people. So he wanted the swallow that he should not kiss his hand, but his lips, because he loved him for his kindness. "It is not to Egypt that I am going," said the swallow. And the swallow made it clear to the prince that it was not Egypt where he was going. "I am going to the house of death." He said that his end was near. He was going to die, and he was going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep, is he not? And he told the prince that death was the brother of sleep. And he asked him if it wasn't. That means we sleep for a small duration, but death makes us sleep in a long sleep. We are free of tensions. No tension after death. So he said that he was going to the house of death. That means he was going to die. He has realized that his end was near. And he kissed the happy prince on his lips and fell down dead at his feet. So as soon as the swallow kissed the lips of the prince, he fell down dead at his feet. At that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue, as if something had broken. And as soon as the swallow fell down dead at his feet, a crackling sound was heard inside the statue, as if something had broken. The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right into two. It certainly was a dreadfully hard fall. And that leaden heart had cracked into two pieces after the death of the swallow. That means the heart of the prince was also grieved that it broke into pieces after the death of the swallow. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below in company with the town councillors. The mayor arrived in the city along with his councillors. As they passed the column, he looked up at the statue. So when they were passing into the city, the mayor looked up at the statue. "Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks," he said. And he said that the happy prince was looking very shabby, very ugly, very dull. And I told you that his sapphires were removed, even the ruby from the sword hilt was taken away, and the thin layers of gold were also removed for helping the poor people of the society. "How shabby the happy prince looks," he said. "How shabby indeed," cried the town councillor, who always agreed with the mayor, and they went to look at it. So the councillor also agreed to the words of the mayor. Whatever he said, they gave their consent. So they also had a close look at the statue, and they also said that the happy prince was no longer attractive, but it was looking very ugly. The ruby has fallen out of his sword, his eyes are gone, and he is golden no longer, said the mayor. So the ruby from the sword was removed, had fallen, the sapphires were no longer there, the gold coat was also not there. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. So he compared the worn out, the shabby statue of the prince to a beggar. Little better than a beggar, said the town councillor. The town councillor also repeated, they gave their consent that the happy prince was now looking like a beggar. And here is actually a dead bird at his feet. Then they saw the dead bird, the dead body of the swallow at the feet of the prince. Continued the mayor, we must really issue a proclamation that birds are not allowed to die here. And the town clerk made a note of the suggestion. The mayor said that it should be proclaimed throughout the city that birds were not allowed to die at the feet of the statue. And that point was noted by the clerk, that it should be proclaimed, an announcement should be made that birds were not allowed to die at the feet of the statue. So they pulled down the statue of the happy prince. So the statue of the happy prince was no longer attractive. It was pulled down. As he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful, said the art professor at the university. So the art professor at the university said that the statue was no longer beautiful, no longer attractive, and no longer useful. What does useful refers to? I think useful here means that when the statue was there in its full fledged, had been coated with gold, the sapphire with the ruby, people from different parts of far away places, different cities came to see that gold-plated, gold-coated statue. It was a center of attraction for that city. But as it has become ugly. So it was of no use. It was not attractive anymore. So it was pulled down. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. Furnace is a bhatti. Big furnaces where iron is melted. What a strange thing, said the overseer of the workmen at the foundry. This broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace. So when they were trying to melt the metal of which that prince was made, then heart did not melt. And even the overseer was shocked. We must throw it away. So they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was lying. So they threw the heart where the dead body of the swallow was lying. Bring me the two most precious things in the city, said God to one of his angels. God told one of his angels that she should go and bring the two most precious things from earth. And the leaden heart of the prince and the dead body of the bird was brought before God. You have rightly chosen, said God, for in my garden of paradise this little bird shall sing forever more, and in my city of gold happy prince shall praise me. So God appreciated the angels for bringing the most precious thing. He appreciated them, applauded them by saying that those two things were the most precious things on the earth. The leaden heart, which broke into pieces after the death of the swallow, and the swallow who was not selfish, who stayed with the prince, sacrificed his life for the prince. And God said that the little bird shall sing for evermore in my city of gold. In the city of gold, The bird was not going, was now will be singing forever. And the happy prince shall praise me, and the happy prince shall praise the king. Praise God in his city of gold.